What is up, guys?
Hey, Hunter.
What's up, Nick?
Oh, Post-it note. Post-it note is up.
How you doing, bro?
Pretty good, pretty good.
How you enjoying the book so far?
Oh, I love it. He's got a great conversational style to him. I really like it.
Yeah, dude, I love the stories too. Really
And
keeps
you know
you
what I like
engaged.
about it? Like some people, they host podcasts, they have other shit, and they just do a really crummy job of putting it in a book form. He tells a good story in book form. You know,
Yeah,
it's not just like a mismatched blog post or some crap. You know, it's pretty good, coherent.
yeah. Have you heard any of his podcasts?
A couple of them. Yeah, last week I listened to a couple of them in the car. They're short, maybe 20 minutes or so.
I should. I haven't yet. What's up, Jenny?
Hi, Jenny.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going amazing. How are you?
Doing good. It's been a busy day, so I was struggling to get back in time for the book club tonight, but it's all good. I made it.
Same here, man. I've been hustling all day. My oven's beeping at me. I'm gonna be eating right now during this session. I'm so sorry. I really hate to eat during this, but
I just finished eating. That's why I was like scarfing down my food so I could make it for this.
cool.
What's up, pups?
That's pretty funny. Jennifer, what kind of dog?
There's 3 of them, so
Oh, nice. I like it.
oh, this is our little Dachshund German Shepherd mix. This is
Very
Jackson.
cool. Yeah.
We've got an Australian Shepherd, that's Chloe. She's shaved right now. And then Cadence is our Malinois back there.
Those are all smart dogs too.
Yeah, and they all get into
Yeah,
trouble because
those
of
are
it.
good size dogs. We have 3 dogs about that size, maybe a little bit. The shepherd there is about the size of our other ones, or our 3 dogs.
Oh, which kind do you have?
Cool. We have a boxer pit mix, a mutt, which I really don't know what she is, and another one. He must be like a hunting dog or something. I don't know my breeds very well, but he's brown with black spots. There's a name for that
Oh,
pattern. I forget what the name is.
is it like brindle?
Brindle, that's what it is. So yeah, he's got that coloration. I couldn't tell you what breed. My wife knows that stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm a big dog lover, so I'd probably have more if I had the time and the space in the house, but 3 is kind of our max right now.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for sure.
Yeah, but they're good overall. They're probably going to be relatively rambunctious behind me because I just got home a little while ago, so they've been cooped up and now they're playing.
Yeah, very cool.
Hey, Kale.
Hey, we have 9
Oh,
dogs.
9 dogs?
Yeah,
9
What?
dogs. Holy
Holy cow.
smokes.
5 of them are pugs.
Oh, pugs.
You have a
That's
pug
funny.
army, dude.
Yeah, we breed them.
Oh
We're-
wow.
Oh, that makes
Ah, okay.
sense then. I got you. So is that you currently have 9 and you're waiting to like move, like sell them or whatever, or you have 9 that you keep?
No. We have 9 personal ones. We're going to pick up another
That's
one this
great.
weekend.
What are the other 4?
They, not me. The other 4 is 2 pits, a German Shepherd, and a Chihuahua.
That's quite the unique collection of pups.
Right.
Right.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. But I am at the store right now. I was trying to get home in time, but I'm at the store. So
No worries.
trying.
It's all good.
And
One thing that I always forget to introduce, but So my name is Hunter. I'm the host for the evening here. What we do every single time is Jimmy is our official question leader. And what we do every single week is Jimmy will select someone to ask questions. So basically, we have a part of the meeting where you'll, if you're chosen to ask questions, then you get to ask each person the questions that are chosen for the week. And usually they're posted in the chat a couple days before. I know Jimmy posted the question that he had, but if no one is selected, then Jimmy will be the one to ask the questions. So yeah, we can just rock and roll from there. And if you guys have anything to add, just feel free to jump up. It's kind of, just a conversation amongst friends, and we like to discuss the topic of the book so that it sticks in our mind and our memory better than just reading it solo. So
Right,
Sounds
and the
good.
purpose of that is to make people get engaged. So if I'm like asking somebody, like Olivia, let's say, like that means Olivia now has to be engaged in next week's coming up meeting, you know what I mean? So that's the intent of it.
Which Olivia is actually, if it's Olivia Jones, is from
Yes.
my group. So hi, Olivia. I haven't seen you
Hey.
in a little bit. So you must have been busy working. So I don't know if Olivia, do you just want to do a quick hello and introduction to the group?
I just got home and my computer is acting a monkey. So as soon as I get it straight, I'll pop on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Olivia.
Sorry about that.
I love the accent.
I do not have an accent.
I have the accent, right?
Right. Everybody had a good day today. I love the book.
same here. I am loving the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one has been a great one.
Yeah.
How
it's
far is
excellent.
everybody? I'm a little worried I'm behind.
I just
I mean,
got
we
through
gotta finish
part one.
Chapter 4.
I just finished part one.
Chapter 4, Jimmy, that's pretty good.
The top 10 brain foods, which I needed.
I hope I'm eating those. Our Polish sausages, our
No.
Maxwell Street.
That one
Oh.
didn't make the top 10.
It's 11. It's number 11.
It's gotta be. Yeah, I think he left it off on purpose.
I actually did have walnuts today, actually, and blueberries.
What page is that? I'm gonna skip ahead and see.
Yeah, I missed this
1:30.
part.
Oh,
It's
I
a
think it's
great
further.
book.
It is. I'm sorry. I just had to look.
But
Spoiler
if you
alert.
listen to
Sorry.
Bigger Pockets podcast, that's how I knew it, because he got interviewed recently, and
Oh.
so then he talked about his 10 foods, and so I remember blueberries, and I remember because he called them brain berries, and then he mentioned walnuts because they look like a brain, and so I went to the grocery store like right after, so I've been eating blueberries and walnuts.
Have you noticed the difference?
Well, in addition to 75 hard, I actually have felt phenomenal this week. Like I really have like felt more alert and like with it and felt good. So I don't know if just a combination of all of it. But yeah.
Right, I'm in the same boat because like I just left working out. That's why I'm running behind, because I got off work late and then had to get a workout in. So I went to the gym, and then my wife was like, "Oh yeah, go to the store." Okay, well, so that's why I'm running behind. But yeah, I feel the same way. It's like between the working out, the different and God, now I can't think. Food. But yeah, sorry, I'm walking through a parking lot, so I'm a little distracted.
Kale, that I want to applaud you for making a point to make it to this meeting, like no matter what you
I
had to do. So that's worth noting. So I appreciate you doing that.
Same
Oh.
here.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy this book so far. I mean, there was a snafu there with how far we were planning on reading today and going over, and
Oh,
We lost
thank
it.
you. Thank you. You cut out. Oh yeah, because I actually, when I posted the reading, well, I was too tired when I made the reading requirements because I got the days wrong. And
All
then
good.
I ended up putting like the chapters. I did like the start. I meant to do part 1, part 2, part 3, and 4, but I had only included the start of chapter 4 as opposed to like the end of it. But that's what Kale was talking about. So he clarified with me earlier.
No, I like the sections that you selected. It's like it's good because I'm reading other books as well, other than just this one, and it's just for me. It like this last week, it was just challenging enough to keep up to where I knew that I had to stay on top of it every day. So
Yeah, no, that's how I am too. I usually have a couple that I'm reading or listening to, but between like Atomic Habits is broken down into parts, and then this one was broken down into parts, it makes it a lot easier to keep up with it.
was there any words that you guys, let's say, underlined or highlighted in the book that you had to Google or look up the definition for?
Neuroplasticity.
Nice. What was the definition?
The ironic thing is I can't remember.
Come on, man.
No, I mean, I think it's related to the hippocampus, if I remember correctly, learning and memory. Like it's like your brain's malleable almost, like it can be molded. So I think that was what he was referring to.
It's like the ability to expand, because he like highlights it with like a quote. I actually happen to be on that page. Like
Right.
every now and then a man's mind is stretched by a new idea or sensation, never shrinks back to its former dimensions. And so that neuroplasticity is that ability to grow.
Right. So yeah, I did get it right. And one of the things out of the book, or at least in the audio that they mentioned that with, was the London taxi driver study.
Oh yeah, the knowledge.
That was wild.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So that ties into that neuroplasticity.
Yeah, I thought that was
pretty impressive.
That was phenomenal. Which I guess I didn't really look. Well, I guess I did Google it because he explains what it is. But the Pomodoro like technique,
Yeah.
that
Oh.
was like a
Yeah.
huge thing. And so I actually I'll have to post it into the group chat because I posted it in like my Facebook group. But there was like this really great article that went into like really in depth what it was and like how to apply it, because I thought that was just so cool. And being a teacher, I was like, I'm going to try this out and then I'm going to teach it to my students because they cram and dump like everything. So I'm going to see how that works.
You guys got to get one of these little Pomodoro timer. Yeah.
I like it.
Interesting. That's pretty cool.
Has
It
anyone
makes
tried that and had experience with it?
I tried it, but I just kept like thinking about the time going off, and then I would just like, my anxiety would kind of kick in. So I didn't have a great experience with trying it, but I think I should probably try it again though, because a lot of people really like it. I was like, the timer's gonna go off. It's gonna go off, like, that kind of thing. It wasn't enough time for me, I feel like.
Well, has anybody read Deep Work?
Yeah.
It's from like Cal Newport, and Hunter, you might know it. He's been on like the Bigger Pockets podcast a couple times, but for me it like conflicted because I actually think I used to study this way like when I was in pharmacy schools. I would take little breaks. I didn't do as good of a job with like the 5-minute break, so like decompressing. So that's my goal going forward, is trying to do that. But I was conflicted because like in Deep Work it talks about like how we have so many distractions and you don't get into this flow state until you are actually doing something for an extended period of time, whether it's like an hour, 90 minutes. And so
that's how I felt. Like I felt like it just wasn't enough time for me.
Honestly, that was the first thing that I questioned was how does he know it's 25 minutes? Because some people obviously do jobs where they have to focus a lot longer periods of time. But I found it really interesting. I tried it. I put my timer for 25 minutes and I was really focused in the book. And then when my timer went off, I was like in the middle of a paragraph. So I was like, oh, I'll just keep reading. And so I ended up continuing to read. But as I was doing that, my thoughts started to branch off. So I don't know. Maybe it was like, wow, it really does work. But I don't know. I'm definitely going to keep trying it.
I think it works pretty well. I got this little tomato timer when I first heard about it because it's cute and it's Pomodoro. But what I didn't like was the mechanical clicking. Can you hear that? Yeah. It
Oh,
sucks.
that would drive
So-
me
Yep, I
crazy.
know what that
yeah.
is.
So
Yeah.
it's really cute, but I didn't like the mechanical clicking. But 25 minutes is not enough. Not for me either. I think 40 is the mark for me.
Did you say it's a Pomodoro? Is that like the name of a tomato?
Yeah. Pomodoro
Is it
means tomato in Italian, and that's where
I
this
had
comes
no
from.
Oh,
idea.
really? I did not know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Smart guy over here.
I know. I just thought it was a funny like timer. I was like, oh, that's cute that you just happen to have that for like your
Right,
kid.
because when
didn't
I
realize-
Googled it, it didn't say, I'm sure if I looked further, it would have said tomato in Italian, but it just said what we're talking about now as far as
Tomato,
the 25-minute.
I think it's what it is. Yeah. It means tomato. Yeah.
That's
one
Because
pretty
yeah,
cool.
I had the technique on the end of it because I was like, well, I'll just add that, and so the tomato didn't even pop up. But how funny!
Tomato technique.
Pretty funny. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Jimmy.
How are you?
I'm okay. What?
Good.
So one of the words I looked up was on
Jimmy.
page 22. I underlined.
Hi, Jimmy.
What's up, man?
Keep going.
I underlined duplicitous. Does anyone know what that means?
Duplicitous.
Duplicate of something.
Duplicitous.
Duplicitous.
Sounds like more than one is very tasty.
Yeah, right.
That's what it sounds like.
Combine the words. Nice.
Is it at the top or the bottom?
It's at the
Middle.
top, or maybe at the bottom.
It's at the first paragraph. At the bottom of it.
Duplicitous. I'd never seen that word before.
I don't know that one.
What page did you say it was?
Page 22.
22.
Oh, it's 22.
Yeah, I cannot find this.
It's right up at the top, first paragraph.
Oh, duplicitous.
Duplicitous.
Oh, there we go.
I'm
Like
saying it wrong.
two-faced. Like two-faced.
Exactly.
Deceitful.
Deceitful. It means like you're saying one thing, meaning something else. Exactly. Two-faced.
Snake tongue.
What was it again? Duplicitous?
Yeah.
Duplicitous.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
As you should. You should learn 3 things every day.
Right. Absolutely.
Did anybody follow the quick start and schedule in some white space time? I actually do have some scheduled for tomorrow.
I put it in my calendar, but I still haven't done it. So it's one of the
Yes,
things.
I'm going to in the morning. In the morning again.
Yeah,
I had a
that
much
was my
better
plan.
day today getting up and going for a walk. Actually, on my walk, I was listening to the book. Finally, actually even starting the book was this morning on my walk. So
Job.
I got like through 35 pages of listening to the audio. So it was pretty
I think
great.
that's where I am too. I'm a little behind. So good
But
job.
I will be okay next week.
I think you're really going to like this book, Amanda.
I absolutely do.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I was,
really
like I was
good.
telling Jimmy on the first 10 minutes of listening to it, I actually cried. It's like, oh my gosh, this, after that the one thing book, which was, I need to read that like 10 times and just soak that in. And then to give me this, yeah, it's like, wow.
Dude, I
wish
thought
I would have been, like he says, you get what you need when you're ready for it. I wish so bad I would have been ready so that this would have come into all of this kind of thinking would have come into my life 30 years ago. That's a long time to not know this stuff. That's a
Right.
long time to continue to live your life thinking really stupidly about finances and about yourself and not knowing how to get out of it.
I'm so glad you found it now.
Yeah, keep reading because I mean, what you're saying is what he delves into. It's
Yeah, absolutely.
But no,
Except that
Amanda, I'm with you on that.
did it. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say I'm with you on that. I thought when I read the one thing, I thought I was done with books. I didn't need to read another book. I was just like, that's it. But this one's coming up real close. I'm really enjoying it so far. So yeah.
Yeah, it really it's really good for right after that book. It's like, okay, this is how you need to start thinking, and then this is where you need to take it. Because that one thing will definitely help springboard you off into this limitless. It's pretty great. I did have to laugh though when I was listening, because I'm listening to the audio as he's telling you to quit using technology so much.
yeah,
Oh.
right.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I would highly suggest getting the hard copy of this book if you can. There's like little he calls them quick starts in the book. They're almost like, question and answer, and it's really beneficial.
yes. And this.
Oh, do you actually
Oh,
find
the
that
workbook.
useful? Because I thought about getting it, but then I was like, well, I'll just read the book first and see.
Yeah, workbook up too.
Have any of you guys gone to the website at all?
The
I've
resource
been
guide.
meaning to.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So that 10, like we're at like that 10 brain foods. I don't know how it is in the book, and I don't know how far in it is, but I don't have a good memory. I don't. But how he did it in that, one of the things on the website was like amazing. So he said, avocado on your head, blueberries coming out of your nose, broccoli out of your mouth, coconut oil out of your ears, leafy greens on your shoulder, walnut your belly button, dark chocolate on your bum, and turmeric. Is that turmeric for your fingertips?
Turmeric.
I read that one time 24 hours ago, and I'm able to say 8 out of 10. Like, I am one of the most burnt people you will ever meet.
Don't say that,
Like,
Jimmy.
well, I am.
Yeah.
I joke on the regular. So for me to be able to do that is like, it's impressive.
And I think Olivia mentioned, if anybody's curious for the list in the book, it's on page 131. But yeah, you hit all of them except for salmon, eggs.
Salmon.
Yeah, those are
Eggs,
the two.
yeah, I should have got eggs because eggs was the Adam's apple.
And then I don't know if you mentioned water, but the other ones you all got.
Yeah, not bad for reading it once. So I told my wife to read it tonight, and I want to see what she comes up with tomorrow. I'm going to have my kids do it too, because I thought that was really cool.
Which that makes me chuckle too with the quick start. Did anybody like go back to try to memorize someone's phone number? I actually did this because I was thinking I have like all my high school friends, their phone numbers memorized, but like if they've changed it, then I have no idea what the number is. So then I actually I don't even remember my brother's phone number because he changed it. And so that was my goal, is to memorize it, which actually, now I'm trying to think. I think I can't remember the last three, but I'm trying to practice that now too.
Yep, I used to have a phone book in my head when you had to know what people's phone numbers were, but now you don't have to, because our phones make us lazy. So
yeah,
totally agreed with that point that he made.
Yeah, I memorized my postmaster's number because I talk to her almost every day. I pulled up her number right when I read that and was like, okay, this is her number, and I can, it's 318-512, blah, blah, blah. I won't say the rest of it, but yeah, already committed.
yeah.
Which I think that kind of relates to Jimmy's question. Jimmy, can I kick it off?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
What was the question? My wife
Oh, yeah,
called.
go ahead.
I cut out.
Oh no, he put it in the chat. I think you're added to the chat.
She's
and
about to
Olivia, I'll have
ask it
add
now.
you. I think your question was, which one of the four horsemen do you think impacts you the most, Jimmy? I don't know if I'm phrasing it the same way.
That's basically what I was getting at, right?
Okay. So for me, that kind of relates to like the digital dementia So that one is kind of one that's for me. And then one, it impacts me for me trying to recall information. So I think, you know, you guys have been around for me to say that, one, I'm a professor, and two, I'm a pharmacist. So I have to memorize a lot of stuff being a pharmacist, but I also work with students. And so this was like twofold, because I noticed it for myself, but I also noticed it for my students, that for them, like the quickest thing, as soon as I ask questions, they grab their phone to pull up Google or Lexicon or like whatever our resources are. And I think I'm going to change it, like going forward, is that they're not going to be able to use their resources, and they have to kind of come up with like critical thinking on their toes until they get to a point that they can't think anymore. And so for me, this one was really cool, where I was like, okay, I think this is going to benefit them in the long run. Just because I think we have too much reliance on digital technology. So that was really cool for me.
I
Yep.
picked the same one. I picked digital dementia as well because I meet a lot of new people. Like my goal here being in Jacksonville and not knowing anyone, like one of my top priorities is networking and growing my network. And I always find it so challenging when I first meet someone and they tell me their name. By the end of that short conversation, I almost never remember that person's name. Almost
Right?
never. It's so bad. So working on that. I can't wait to read the part where he teaches you how to remember anyone's name, because I'm definitely going to use that.
I think it just has something to do with saying it back to them. Well, nice to meet you, Hunter. You know, and then making sure you say their name once or twice within your conversation. And I think that helps stick it, because you not only did you just hear it, but you've heard your own mouth say it. And so you're using more than one sense with that name.
Yeah.
That's
For
my
me,
guess.
one of those.
I'm just guessing.
A few times when I've tried to do that. If I do it fast enough, you know, I have to do it right after they say it.
Yeah.
So Jennifer, did you have a favorite quote or anything that you?
Oh, I
wanted
think
to bring up
I
that
think
you
Nick was
have?
going to go. Sorry, Jimmy. I think
I'm
Nick was going
sorry.
to say
Go
his.
ahead, Nick.
But it's okay. I think for me, it's definitely distraction, but I think the distraction is fed by the deluge, because I'll get a ping or a notification or email or blast, and then that just takes my focus away, and then I fall into the rabbit hole of the technology. So it's like, it's definitely distraction, but like fueled by the amount of shit out there that's just constantly being dumped in. You know,
Ugh.
it sucks. I wish I could turn everything off and run away.
Yeah.
I did want to, before we got into asking each one, I wanted to make sure we were all on the same page and understanding which of the four horsemen, which one was. Can we do that really quick?
Yes.
Cool.
How do you mean?
So I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page with what each one means.
Yes. We should be. If you read the book, we should.
Well, Nick, since you just did the digital deluge, do you want to explain that one to everyone?
Yeah, I could
Yes.
talk about it. Yeah. So there's just so much information to process. The idea behind digital deluge is there's just not enough downtime to really take stuff apart and like disseminate it in your own head. And that's where like that white space really comes into place, giving the information that you bring in time to sort of sift through your network, you know, in your head. So deluge, I think, is like typically a term for like water, but it's the same type of thing. It's like you're in this ocean of information that you can't really get through. That's how I understand it.
Would anyone want to change anything, or is that good?
No,
Yeah,
I think that's good.
I'm
I
in agreement
think-
too.
Nick, I like how you tied it into the digital distraction, because they do go hand in hand.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. It's like you got all this info, you can't quite process it, and you're on to the next thing, you know, with the distraction piece.
Yeah.
Like, those two sit next to each other.
Mhm.
So Nick, did you have any quotes or anything that you wanted to talk about?
Still related to the Four Horsemen?
No, just in general. Just in general, up in that first part that we've gone through.
So
Okay, wait. So there was digital deluge, which Nick talked about, and then there's digital deduction, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes.
digital distraction we talked about. That one's obviously when you're getting a lot of notifications. But what's the difference between deluge and distraction?
Distraction would be like when you're constantly connected to it, and you can't get into that deep learning state where you're just
Okay.
continuously getting pinged and stuff. I like how he says we'd say BRB, be right back, and that was normal.
Yeah.
Now it's in your phone, and like, how come your jerk of a friend hasn't texted you back in 3 minutes? Is what you're thinking.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy's terrible.
Totally.
One of the things that I got from the digital distraction too was like one of his quotes at the end when he talks about and the kind of rapid continuous shifting we do with multitasking causes the brain to burn through fuel so quickly that we feel exhausted and disoriented after even a short time. Because I think that kind of also then ties into like that Pomodoro effect. But that's what I was thinking too, is like a big key for that distraction is that we read a book and we hear ping, then you jump to check your phone and you try to jump back to the book and you have Netflix going on in the background. And so then it's just all of this energy that your brain is trying to process and it can't. And so you're not focusing on any one thing effectively. So that was kind of one other thing I thought about that.
Which we learned in the last book that you can't do.
Yep.
Right.
I'm already seeing lots of ties and parallels from the last book. So how about digital dementia and digital deduction? Does anyone have a good explanation for those?
That's like what Jennifer said about her students jumping to the phone for crap, because it's like, if you just wait, if you just try to remember it, you might be able to remember it.
And I think so for the digital dementia, for me, it was just being able to actually like sit and process and think. So not having an answer at your fingertips, but actually having to think critically is going to help, kind of like the same way you train like a muscle. The more times you sit and like process and actually try to come to that answer, you're building a stronger muscle to be able to have like faster reactions, be like, oh yeah, like I remember that now.
Yeah.
Every time you look it up and you don't sit and like process and like actually memorize like what you're learning, you probably are looking it up for a quick answer. You have that answer, now you forget it, as opposed to having to like work through the process. Like, okay, I remember this in class. I remember they said this. Oh yeah. Like now I have that answer. And so that's for me where like the digital dementia really resonated with me.
It's, when you bring up the idea of a muscle too, it's almost like you take it a step further with like, if you've ever done like a press on a machine, like you're sitting and you press up, right? That's really just this. But if you're standing and you pick up a weight and then you're still standing and you press it over your head, you're using more parts of your body. So it's like same thing when you're trying to recall a memory or something, you're traveling through more parts of your brain. So you're maybe going to pick up more valuable stuff along the way, build more of that muscle along the way.
Yeah.
We don't challenge ourselves doing that enough now.
Yeah, because it's all so easier. It's the same as like looking in a book for an answer as opposed to, going to Google, and just a very, very different shift and dynamic nowadays.
Yeah.
The digital deduction ties into the digital dementia as well, right? Because the digital deduction is critical thinking and creativity, like, is being taken away. We don't have to do it anymore, right? So it just like we're not using things like digital things. What did he mention? Like GPS, right? So you're losing that muscle that you guys are speaking to. That ties into the deduction and critical thinking. So these four horsemen, they all do kind of lead to the next one in one shape, form, or another.
I know. I took the lacrosse team when I lived in Colorado. I was a school bus driver, and I took the lacrosse team over the mountain, like a 6-8 hour drive, and we were actually there for 4 days. But when you're going through the mountains, most of the time your phones don't work. And this was an amazing coach. He was so great. He would ask them questions, knowing the stuff that these high school kids were learning in their classes, because he was really into these kids. But he would ask them questions that they should know, And half the time, that first day they're like, oh, I wish I could use my phone. I know this, but I can't think of it. And he's going, figure it out. I heard those words, figure it out, so many times over that weekend. I loved this guy. He was so awesome, but he would have them spell words, just words that weren't spelled normal, like the word Merlot. They never figured out the right way to spell Merlot until they got to where we were going and somebody pulled it up on their phone. They're like, oh, it's got a T at the end, but that was probably the only letter in the whole alphabet that they didn't guess. But he would just do that all the time. Or they would ask him a question, well, how do you do this? And he'd say, really? I bet if you thought for 5 seconds, you could figure that out. And he would just drive those kids to think. And it was awesome to see a coach make these kids think, because so many of them, middle schoolers, are not taught to think for themselves. They just are not. They're spoon fed, and it just, what bus is number 2 in a line of 3? It's like, really, if you can't figure it out, you don't get to go. So
Smart kid.
yeah.
I love that. Sorry guys, my husband just got home, so my dogs are making sure it's not a stranger if you hear them barking.
Amanda, which one hit you the most out of all of them, out of the 4?
Probably the dementia. The dementia and the deluge together. I thought it was fun that he put 2 of them together, that Nick put 2 of them together. But the deluge and the dementia, I get so much thrown at me mentally every day that I can't remember anything. And I will look up something, quickly look up something on my phone. And then as soon as it's off the phone, I can't remember what it is. And so that, those 2 are really tight for me, and it bugs me so much, but it's because I didn't think of the answer. I lose it easier.
So does anyone, okay, so since he was talking about this in the book, the digital dementia, this is the one that I wrote down. Does anyone remember REDUCE, the acronym?
From where?
From the Catalyst.
Oh, that's a good one. Hold on.
Since Monday, I've been trying to think of what D was. But I wanted to see if it was in the collective intelligence here, if anyone could come up with D at least.
So you got R and E.
I got all of them. Yeah.
Except, what were they?
So what's the R and E?
Okay. Did anyone else read The Catalyst, or was it just us 3?
I listened to it as an audiobook. I didn't
Okay.
chime in on your guys' discussions, but I did listen to it.
Okay.
Give us the first letter. And
Okay. First letter is. Okay. Now I'm put on the spot and it's slipping my mind. Hang on. It's coming back, guys. It's coming back. It's reduce. Oh no. Oh God. Now it's slipped my mind, guys. Okay. Reduce is
I can't remember what it was in relation to.
react. Oh no. This is embarrassing. React. Is it not react?
I can't.
I can't remember
Come
what,
on, guys.
what
It
the
depends on
acronym
what-
was.
What
Reactance.
context is it for? Like, I can't remember.
That was the whole. He
I
wrote the
know, I
whole
know it
book.
was the whole- well,
I'm
yeah.
almost certain it was React, but I'm not 100% certain.
Reduce
can't remember.
reactants. There we go. Reduce reactants.
Yes.
E's endowment.
Yeah.
D, I can't remember since Monday. U is uncertainty. And C and E is corroborating evidence.
Is it? I don't know why I thought distance. That's not right, huh?
Distance. Shrink
Is it
distance.
distance?
Shrink distance.
You have to
Alright,
shrink the
okay.
distance.
I knew you guys
yeah,
could do it. Wow.
to go from the 20-yard line, right? to the 50-yard line.
It is. It's shrink distance. Amazing.
Good job,
right.
Ashley Hunter.
Yeah, well, I would not have known if he didn't say all the other letters.
We got it. Hell yeah. Now I didn't have to look in the
Yeah.
book for it. Okay, cool. I'm glad we can remember that. We can move on to the next thing.
That was 2 books ago. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. I wanted to see if
We all
everyone,
have
if anyone still
dementia.
remembered it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
I'm really mostly excited about this book because my dad has early dementia, and you know they say that it's hereditary, but I don't remember anybody before him having it. So you know, I don't know. And then they say it's not contagious, but a lot of times I think I'm catching dementia really bad. But it's just that overload of everything, the deluge of everything makes you. So I'm looking forward to making my brain work better.
What do y'all think about the digital depression portion of it? I mean, I think that's probably younger folks are maybe most susceptible to it, like kids that are growing up with this stuff. But I think I could see it a lot in a lot of people my age, even depression, just constantly comparing themselves to everybody else.
I think it takes like, I'm trying to think of how to say it not without it coming out bad. I was trying to think like mental stability, but I think like people who are like constantly self-evaluating and kind of like a group like this, like you don't get kind of pulled into some of that
Right.
superficialness. And so, because
Totally.
I mean, I know that I get stuck in it too, but then I have to like sit and process and all right, like, okay, that's just like their vacations that they're posting. And again, like being able to recognize it's a highlight reel so you don't get sucked in, but it is really
Yeah.
easy to. And so again, I think if you're not like self-reflecting or thinking about like, okay, what are the good things that you have going on, then it is really easy to get into that kind of a state or a mindset where it is really depressing. I love seeing people's success, but I'm like, dang, can I get another house yet? Like, or another rental property? All about seeing people win, but that's probably like the time where I'm like, man, I just want one house. Come on.
I want to see the how, like somebody buys a house. It's like, all right, was the down payment gifted? Put it in the comments. Like I want to know.
Right?
How do you do it? How do you do it? Yeah. Where do you come up with all this money for it? Like, how?
I mean,
Because I
think
have
consumer
lots of
debt.
great ideas that need money to be able to do them. And yeah.
I definitely worry though. So we don't have kids yet, but I worry as like we get kids because I know it's like a much harsher reality. Not that there wasn't like bullying back in like our day and that kind of stuff, but I really think that the ease and accessibility of again like being able to do digital bullying and then them seeing their friends because like back in that day too I was a little bit more superficial and wanted like the coolest shoes and that kind of stuff, and so I actually really worry about that for the future generations because they don't have that gap of what was it like before technology compared to now. Like for them it's been technology since they're like little kids.
You just bully them at home and then love them, and then they can deal with anybody in any situation. They can deal with it.
And good to know. Good parenting tips.
Bully them yourself.
You bully them with love, and then yes, bully them and build them up all at the same time. And no. Bye.
You guys like the X-Men?
I
Yes.
love X-Men.
I did too.
I loved that whole story about that.
Me too. I need to go look at the picture because I just thought that was awesome and cool how things like work out in the end like that.
I think they purposely set him on the airplane between those two women.
Yeah.
Dream spot. Well, Jimmy, I think you asked me about like a quote that resonated with me previously, and then we got like a little distracted. But for one, for me was on page 41, the elusive obvious. He talks about like give a person an idea and you enrich their day, teach a person how to learn and they can enrich their entire life. Like that one really hit with me again, being like a teacher. But then he like goes on to talk about like a quote from one of the books was like, one of my deepest concerns is that while education systems around the world are being reformed, many of these reforms are being driven by political and commercial interests that misunderstand how real people learn and how great schools actually work. As a result, they are damaging the prospects of countless young people. Sooner or later, for better or for worse, they will affect you or someone you know. And I think that too is like in society right now, it's just like it's pushing everyone through as like quickly as you can, and like here everybody needs to learn this stuff but not playing to anyone's strengths. And this kind of goes back into like the entrepreneurial mindset too, which Jimmy, I'm pumped that your daughter is doing the little jewelry business, and I think that's so awesome. And just thinking outside the box, but like it's great that she has like a dad that she can go to and talk to about that stuff, whereas like not everybody has that. And it's the go to school and then go to college and then get a good job, which is kind of like an outdated method. So that was another thing that like stood out to me.
Yeah. Like she wants to go be a baker, like learn, you know, she loves being, and my, you know, what the takeaway I want is that's fine. You can be the baker, but own the building, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't just be the baker. Like you're going to be the baker and own that building. Like, so that's why I want to drill that stuff into. One thing I found interesting that I was not aware of was the brain makes up about 2% of body mass, but requires 20% of the body's nutrients. Like I never knew that. And that motivates me to start really watching the nutrients that I take in. Like I never knew that it had that much effect and it burned that much energy. So that was eye-opening for me. That was one thing that I found interesting.
You would like the book Eat Smarter. It's actually like an audiobook that I'm listening to right now that goes into like super in depth on like the foods for the brain and all that stuff.
Nice.
He was the author is Sean Stevenson. He was recently on like Ed Milet's podcast that like just came out, but I've been listening to it for most of the morning and it's an awesome book.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Anybody else have stuff they want to talk about?
I like this little factory looking picture, all these kids.
Yeah.
Reading, writing, arithmetic. That's it. Get the hell out.
When Jenny
Yeah.
when Jenny was talking about when Jenny brought that up, that was the exact image that popped into my mind, like how our system hasn't changed since then. Literally,
Yeah.
that was such a shocker to me.
Right. Oh, I love this one about the story about the power plant, because that reminds me of the technicians. So I sell like maintenance agreements and like service projects for like big air conditioning systems, right? And we're an expensive game. We're not cheap, but we're really stinking good at what we do. And it's like, I forget sometimes that is the justification. It's like, we're the factory technicians. That's why you pay the premium, because we get shit done. So like, I love remembering that it's like, it's that iterative process of building a skill set, and that is valuable. Yeah.
I like the sign behind you, Nick.
What's that?
I like the flag sign behind you. Play like a champion.
No, thanks.
Today.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, Notre
great.
Dame, right? I live in Indiana, so it's kind of by default, everybody likes Notre Dame.
Okay.
Or they hate it. Yeah. I didn't go there, but yeah, everybody likes it.
That's the first time I heard
the whole idea of learning how to learn is very important. And so many of the examples that he gives in there about how we're not taught how to focus, we're not taught how to remember things and how to learn, and that we absolutely need to start teaching teachers how to teach the kids how to learn, instead of just spending so much time teaching them how to take tests the standardized testings, they spend so much time preparing them for these stupid tests that they don't even get to teach them the things that they're in class for. And it drives me nuts. And yeah.
And everyone's not designed for that type of test. Like, and they gauge you, like if you do bad on that structured test, it's like you're looked down upon, but you could be succeeding at something else, but you're not, the school doesn't focus on it.
Absolutely. And that's what happened when they took competition away from kids too. Because, oh, well, we don't want to hurt your feelings because you really suck at this, but we don't want to tell you that because everybody can do everything really well, but that's not the truth. And it really has hurt our whole society. You've got to know, everybody has to know, I suck at this, but I'm really good at all of these things. And I never would have found these things had I just settled for a participation award over here because my friends did, so.
I like it.
I agree.
I think that's putting a giant limit on our children. They'll never live a limitless life, always being a participant instead of a winner.
But it also hurts their self-esteem too, right? Like if someone doesn't do good on the SA or PSA, whatever the state, the standardized testing, like that hurts their feelings and it shuts them down. And they might be good at art, but now they're thinking, well, am I good at art? Right? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like something needs to be adjusted, but that's a whole nother talk show.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also underlined amalgam and seeding. Does anyone know amalgam?
Like a blend, like a combination.
Yes. Nick, you're a smart guy, dude. Come on now. How about seeding?
Seeding, like CE.
Mm-hmm. CEDING.
Like retreating or something?
Yeah. Yeah, retreating. Or like,
well, proceeding is coming before. So
seeding is to give up.
Okay.
To give up. That's what it is.
Like to concede. To concede would be to just you win.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, guys. Anything else that anyone wanted to share for our last 5 minutes, personal or about the book?
My goal is to get to one book a week, like he was saying. I think he talked about it in the beginning. That's my goal, is a book a week.
That's a very admirable goal to have.
Once I finish this book, once I finish it, then that timer is starting where I'm going to try to get it in.
Jennifer, you're a go-getter, huh? You're like, you do a lot of stuff. That's good.
Yeah, I try. Well, sometimes it gets me into trouble, so I'm not very good at the one thing. I'm trying to start narrowing it down, but reading is definitely something I enjoy to do. And there's a used bookstore over here, and I've been like finding some real good gems on like the business and self-improvement. And so my bookshelf has increased dramatically, and I need to start getting through those books, but actually being able to understand what they're saying and get the benefit.
I'm curious how many pages people read in one sitting.
Well, at minimum, I have to do 10 pages a day for 75 hard, but I usually try to do it by like chapters. I usually try to get through a chapter a day, unless it's like a super long chapter.
Okay.
In one sitting, I try to do one full chapter just to grasp the full idea of what they're saying, because the author broke it there on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to read a full chapter in one sitting.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Probably like 20 to 30 in one go. Just because like I'll read in sips most of it. I'll just like sit on the couch and read a little bit.
Okay. Thanks.
And he's got like those breaks, like with like a quote on it. So it's like probably artificially inflating the rate.
How much do you read in one sitting, Aisha?
I can only read a few pages at a time, and it's not because I don't enjoy it, but my body is like, go do something, and so I can't quiet my mind or my body, so I need to work on that. Yeah. So I read about, I would say about 5, maybe 10 pages at a time, and then I'll do the dishes. I'll do other things.
Nice. I find reading like a lot like meditation. Like it's in like you said, how, you know, your mind just wants to, your body wants to just do something else after a certain period of time. It takes practice to like continually read. That's another thing, like with the 25-minute Pomodoro timer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, is it the 25 minutes is for who? Is that for everyone? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I think if you think of it,
one thing that I learned about reading that's really ramped up my reading speed, I learned from a YouTube video by Mark Manson. And that was like using your finger to point at where you're reading. So maybe
I think that's
20%
actually
of the time,
what Jim
your attention will wander around the page,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, so it's not, you don't always read in a straight line. So if you have like something to assist you, like your finger or even like a bookmark, that will help you just kind of like stay on track, like a you know, like a laser pointer or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's helped me. And also another thing that he said was really helpful was like not like phonetically sounding out the language. So a lot of us, when we're taught to read in grade school, we're taught to like say the word, but that actually slows down your reading. Like you don't have to do that. You don't have to like you know, make the sounds, you know.
Oh.
You have to like sound it out in your mind. So that's something I've been working on, is just like looking at it and like understanding the meaning, right? And keep preventing yourself from, you know, any kind of pronunciation. So you might be pronouncing something in your mind, but you don't have to pronounce anything. You can just, if you just look at like the word, you can understand its meaning.
Totally.
Never
That's
tried.
something that I think is helpful. Just like if you find yourself pronouncing something, you know, just kind of like stop yourself.
What I do is I put my tongue on the roof of my mouth and I hold it there. And it stops me from saying the words in my mind.
I've never heard of this, so I will. I'll
Interesting.
That's really interesting.
That's such an efficient idea, Jason.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, man. Where are you from, Jason? I don't think we've heard from you before, man.
I'm from Houston. Yeah.
He's killing it in the real estate game too. I met him at the real estate or the finance conference back in October. So
Very
Jason,
cool.
yeah, Jason is doing big things in Texas.
What kind of real estate, Jason? What are you doing?
I'm acquiring rental houses. Yeah.
So you're holding.
Buying land as well. So a lot of real estate investing. Yeah. And sell as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Houston's a big city, huh?
Oh, enormous. It's a giant city. And
is it growing still, or is it growing? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Jason, remind me, what were you doing? Because you were pulling like lists from a very special like population base.
Is this a real estate group? I'm not sure what group this is.
Oh no, so this is the book club. So Hunter, he runs his own book club. And so yeah, if you remember me from the investment mindset book club, we met at the Financial Freedom Principles Conference. But I think the last time you hopped on the book club, we were talking about building wealth one house at a time. So it was a real estate book at that time.
Oh, okay.
And that's how we got to talking on what you were doing in Texas.
Yes. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Also, so this is a book club. Well, great.
Yeah.
everyone here in the book club is mainly in real estate, getting started, or already has holdings of some sort. So everyone's kind of in the real estate space in the book club. But yeah, man, I'm so happy that you're here, and thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate the
Yeah.
tips.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's good to be in a group that encourages reading. That's definitely something I'd like to do more of.
100%.
So you're gonna join us in the future, Jason?
Yeah, if Jennifer, will allow me, I can definitely join you guys. Yeah.
Of course, of course, you're allowed. I'm glad that you hopped on today because I think I'm trying to think if you jumped in for Think and Grow Rich, or if the last one was Building Wealth One House at a Time. I haven't seen you on the meetings recently, so it was nice to see you today.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Always love your feedback.
Yeah,
He's got some good insight.
Awesome. I always try and do my best and cut it off right at 8 just to respect everyone's time. I hate being the time guy, but it is what it is. So that's it, guys. It was a fantastic meeting, and I really look forward to next week and the rest of the book with you guys. Real quick, Jenny, what are we reading to next week? What should we all be caught up to?
So next week it is part 2, which I think is only 2 chapters. Let me just double check.
Cool. So at least up to part 2.
Yeah, so chapters 5 and 6. So it looks like it's about 30 pages.
Fantastic.
So what page is that? Is it page 89?
So 65 to 108 would be the end of chapter 6.
Okay, perfect. And if you get a lovely message from Jimmy asking you nicely to ask questions for our next meeting, be pleased to do it because it's a great time. All right, guys. Other than that, thank you so much, and I hope you all have a fantastic night.
Bye.
Everyone.
It was good
See
seeing
you guys.
everybody.